Part 3. The Love of the World. Nothing hinders a soul from coming to Christ more than a vain love of the world, and until a soul is freed from it, it can never have true love for God. What are the honors and riches of this world when compared to the glories of a crown of life? Love not the world, for the love of the world is a moth in a Christian's life. To despise the world is the way to enjoy heaven, and blessed are they who delight to converse with God by prayer. Death and judgment. As the devil labors by all means to keep out other things that are good, so as much as he is able, he works to keep out of the heart the thoughts of passing from this life into another world. For he knows if he can but keep people from serious thoughts of death, he will more easily keep them in their sins. Nothing will make us more earnest to work out our salvation than to frequently meditate on mortality. Nothing has greater influence in taking our hearts away from the empty things of this world and to cause us to desire after holiness. O sinner, what a condition you will fall into when you depart from this world. If you depart unconverted, it would have been better if you had died the first hour you were born. It would have been better for you if you had been made a dog, a toad, or a serpent, if you die unconverted. And you will find this to be true if you do not repent. A man would be counted a fool to insult a judge who is to decide what will become of all his possessions. The trial we have before God is of much greater importance. It concerns our eternal happiness or misery. And yet, dare we offend him? The only way for us to escape that terrible judgment is to be often passing a sentence of condemnation upon ourselves here. When the sound of the trumpet shall be heard, which will summon the dead to appear before the tribunal of God, the righteous will rush out of their graves with joy to meet their Redeemer in the clouds. The rest will call to the hills and mountains to fall upon them, to cover them from the sight of their judge. Let us therefore be asking ourselves, which of the two we shall be. The joys of heaven. There is no good in this life that is not mingled with some evil. Honors perplex, riches cause worry, and pleasures ruin health. But in heaven we will find blessings in their purity, without anything negative, but with everything to sweeten them. Oh, who is able to conceive the inexpressible, inconceivable joys that are there? None but they who have tasted of them. Lord, help us to put such a value upon them here, that in order to prepare ourselves for them, we may be willing to forego the loss of all those deceiving pleasures here. How will the heavens echo with joy when the bride, the Lamb's wife, shall come to dwell with her husband forever. Christ is the desire of nations, the joy of angels, and the delight of the Father. What comfort then must that soul be filled with that has the possession of Him for all eternity? Oh, what acclamations of joy there will be when all the children of God shall meet together without fear of being disturbed by the anti-Christian and Cain-like children. Is there not a time coming when the godly may ask the wicked what profit they have in their pleasure? What comfort do they have in their greatness? What satisfaction from all their labor? If you want to better understand what it means to see God in all His glory, my request is that you would live a holy life and then go and see the torments of hell. Heaven and salvation are not certainly more promised to the godly than hell and damnation are threatened to and executed on the wicked. When once a man is damned, he may bid adieu to all pleasures. Oh, who knows the power of God's wrath? None but those who are condemned by Him. The company of sinners are the devil and his angels, tormented in everlasting fire with a curse. Hell would be a kind of paradise if it were no worse than the worst of this world. As different as grief is from joy, as torment from rest, and as terror from peace, so different is the state of sinners from that of saints in the world to come. About the author. John Bunyan was born in November 1628 in Elstow, England. A celebrated English minister and preacher, he wrote The Pilgrim's Progress in 1678, the book that was the most characteristic expression of the Puritan religious outlook. His other works include doctrinal and controversial writings, a spiritual autobiography, Grace Abounding, in 1666, and the allegory, The Holy War, in 1682. The End. With All Christ's Love, February 2023.